Le ka klenach Meda DeWitt yuchat doasak klinget klenach zetsinok yuchat doasak nanyaina chatsati kachadi yedi hatsati shtakin kwan ayachat. I am Tlingit and also part Tahltan, and I was born on Prince of Wales Island in southeast Alaska, but my family's come from Wrangell and Yakutat.
And my grandfather, he was a country doctor. He would see the Native women, treat them, and deliver their babies. And so he'd get paid in food and knowledge. And I learned how to make salves and ointments, lotions, all that kind of stuff from family. When I was 18, my grandfather's had a vision, and he's like, "You're going to do this when you grow up." But I ended up getting really sick, and in indigenous cultures around the world, I think it's called the healer's sickness. And it really was through indigenous traditional healing medicine that I came from the brink of death into being a healthy person again. So we could talk about this guy right here, because this is a curly dock. This is part of the Rumex family, which is wild rhubarb, and it is prolific. Don't put it in your yard. Just harvest it wild and let it be wild, because if you put it in your yard, it just takes over. You want to harvest, down towards the base, especially when they're young like this. The thing with all the Rumex, which is the sourdocks and the rhubarbs, is they're going to be high in oxalic acid. So oxalic acid is hard on the kidneys, but it easily breaks down with heat. So it's very easy to break down. We could taste this one because it's young. You could cook it down and make a vinaigrette or put it in a salad. It has that tangy, kind of hearty flavor to it. The Rumex family is wonderful for anti-inflammatory and the digestive system. So it's going to help to, that fiber is going to move bowel matter through and help to heal the intestines, which with the standard American diet, most of us experience leaky gut syndrome. And so our traditional plants are actually a remedy for that. So harvesting this plant, you see we have like the fresh new leaves. We'll want to pull the fresh new leaves. And then you take off that protective sheath. Harvesting it, see that it looks like slime, really, but it's mucilage, and it helps to heal. That's the stuff that heals the intestines.
So this one is sourdock. I think some folks, depending on their traditional language, it's guachics. We just call it sourdock as a common name, and it's part of the Rumex family or the dock family. So earlier we saw the curly dock, and this one's going to look very similar, except for if you look at the leaves, it's going to be an arrow shape, wide at the bottom and then tapered at the top. And again, we're going to have that pink coloring in it. That pink and red is really common in the spring because in the cold weather or northern climates, it helps to bring in more solar radiation to heat the plant and help it to grow faster. It's part of the Rumex family. It's going to be high in vitamin C. It's also going to have oxalic acid. You can eat a few of the young leaves. It's not a big deal. Nice and tart. Out in Igiagig, they actually use this as part of their Agudak. And Agudak is a traditional, they call it ice cream, but it's generally made out of a healthy fat traditionally, so like caribou tallow, caribou fats. And there's some recipes that have dried fish that's flaked, and that gets it in a nice texture. Some of them just have berries, and some of them have berries and fish. Theirs include this green, so you'll have the fats, and some folks, with contact would use Crisco, and they're used to that, and it's also easily accessible. But now what I suggest is transitioning to using coconut oil. So you can use that coconut oil, you can whip it, cool it down so it keeps that nice firm texture to it. And that whipped, because that whipping catches air bubbles in it, so it makes it fluffy. And that's what Agudak means, is to stir with your hand. Yeah. So they'll take the little ones and they'll chop those up, especially if they're still curled like this, and they'll just slightly heat them so that they don't turn into, spinach. It's just a light heat, and then they'll add them to the Agudak all chopped up, and it's really good.